guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I'm super excited today because I have my first ever guest on Mental Health Mondays. You should feel privileged.
I really do.
I
actually really do.
I honestly have never had anyone on this.
Thank you.
So you guys may have seen Shanie on my channel before. Today we are going to be talking on the topic of how to explain your mental illness to new people. I just thought this would be a really good thing for us to do because we were new people.
Yeah.
We asked questions and whatnot, and I just wanted to talk through and get your help on this as well.
Yeah,
and your input. So I think the thing is, so many people in this world suffer with mental health problems at some point in their life, and I feel like we're all super afraid to like open up because of all this stigma that surrounds it. But I feel like when you do open up to people, it actually opens the door to more conversation of things that you've never talked about. Yeah. So I've compiled my top tips on telling people. So I just want to give people like straight to the point tips on what I think they should say, like literally just starting the conversation, because that is the key, isn't it? Like it is starting that conversation with someone that, say, you're new to, so whether it's like new uni flatmates or a new friend.
And that doesn't mean you have to share it with everybody.
No, not at all.
But there might be that time where you're in a situation with me and Maddie, just to explain. We were in my car and we were driving somewhere.
Oh my God,
I remember it very clearly. And I think you were having a little bit of a wobbly day and your anxiety was really high. And I sensed something with you. And I literally said to her, baby, you okay? Because you seem a little different today. You're a bit quiet. And then it was like that one question opened the floodgates.
Thank goodness you said something to me, like, because I think people find it difficult if it doesn't come up in conversation. It's that how then to bring it up. Let's start with tip number one, and that is to banish any feelings of shame, because I feel like people don't want to open up. Number one, because they're ashamed of how they feel, and no one should be ashamed of how they feel.
Well, they're ashamed of what's caused them to feel that. A lot of people will suffer with anxiety or depression because something has happened in their life and they are maybe shameful about what has happened, and that then prevents them from sharing how they feel. Or they're
ashamed that they feel so bad. Like for me, like I get anxious over the stupidest of things, and I think, Maddie, why are you getting anxious about this? And then I like self-criticize myself. Okay, so tip number two, and this is what you touched on in the beginning of this video, and that is decide what you want to tell that person. You do not have to tell them your whole life story, like on the off. Like you can, it's your choice, like to go into as much or as little detail as you want. Like you have the control.
And I also think that you need to be aware of your gut feeling leading you in the right direction. You will know instinctively how much to tell that person because there will either be an instant connection and trust,
you're so right.
Or there will be that underlying feeling that's like, I don't quite know what I want to say to this person.
So number three, when it comes down to actually starting that conversation, if the other person hasn't sensed there's something up but you really want to share that with them, how to start that conversation is the most difficult thing. Like I think this is one of the questions that I get asked the most, is literally what words to use that is not going to freak the person out, that's just going to open up the conversation.
Drop it cash.
You think cash is the best?
This is me. If I was feeling a little bit anxious, I'm really sorry if I'm in a bit of a funny mood today. I've just like, I don't know if I mentioned it to you before, but I sometimes suffer with anxiety.
That's so good. That's so much better than your
just be like, oh, I'm just such an anxious person. Do you get anxiety? Because I really suffer.
Okay, that is a real, like, do you know what?
Lightweight, but getting onto the subject, and then if that person, 9 times out of 10, that person will have experienced some form of something in their life, so they go, oh, well, I don't get anxiety, but you know, 2 years ago I suffered with really bad depression. All of a sudden you're having a whole conversation. I think I just told you.
It's alright, we're all friends here. However, just to play devil's advocate, if they think that you're purely saying that you're anxious for the sake of being anxious and they don't actually think that you're alluding to some kind of deeper mental illness, if you did want to have a more serious conversation, I would literally just say like, can I have a chat with you? Like, can I talk to you about something that's been on my mind?
That's direct is the best approach.
Whether that's a text, whether that's a phone call, whether that's face-to-face, like whatever you feel is easiest for you to do.
If I received a message from you saying, babe, I'd really love to have a chat with you, there's something I want to talk to you about, all of a sudden I'm going to go into that, my whole demeanour changes towards the conversation. So now I'm going to go into that conversation knowing it's something a little bit more serious, being ready to have a deep conversation with you and not feeling like I've been ambushed with all this information. Like I'm going into it knowing that from the tone of your text, I need to be supportive.
Yeah. I found a really good article. I found loads of really rubbish articles online when I was doing some research.
That's always that.
Research. Oh no. When I was doing some research, there was no like actual direct on how to start the conversation. It was just like beating around the bush. But I found this one really good article, which I will link down below, that had like literally examples in quotation marks of what to say. So tip number 4 is to give examples of what your illness is like. So what I mean by this is that as soon as you say the word, say like depression to someone, they are gonna in their head think about the stereotype around it. Like if they don't necessarily understand what depression is, they might associate negative things.
Can I give an example?
Yeah.
So for example, an alcoholic.
Yes.
An alcoholic is a stereotype, is somebody slurring their words with a can of Stella, you know, down the street, drinking all day, every day, not being able to hold down a job. However, there are many functioning alcoholics who go to work every day and hold down a job, but if you speak to them after 5 o'clock, they're probably quite drunk.
So I think just giving examples of like how it affects your daily life. So it might just affect your sleep, it might mean you're down sometime, it might mean you're not up to do like social activities sometime, but if you explain how it fits in with your life, I think that just gives them a bit more of an idea, and it also, it doesn't excuse you from certain things, but it gives them an explanation for say why you didn't want to go shopping with them last Saturday. Like
that's really
important. They can, you know, understand that it's not them as it's not a personal thing. It's just something that you're going through. Okay, so number 5 is to make sure you tell them why you're telling them this. So obviously the aim from telling someone is that you want something out of it. You either want their support or you just want them to know this about you at this point in your life. There is a purpose to you wanting to tell these new people.
Because you're getting on so well, you're obviously going to be friends for a long time. So your motivation to telling them is that at some point I'm sure this is going to come up. And I'd rather tell you when I'm feeling a bit okay about it.
That's another thing, is always tell them when you're in a good mood instead of when you're like shit. Like it's always best to, when you're clear-headed and you can
it's really hard for you to express yourself if you're not in a good place, and it's really hard for somebody to ask the questions they want to ask if you're not in a good place. So probably,
and always
timing.
Always be open to people's reactions, because obviously you're going to plan things in your head, but not everything plays out how you want. Don't be disappointed with, some people take longer to process things than others, especially if you've like just met them and you've kind of given them this. They might, I don't know, there can be so many different reasons that they react how they do. Like, they might even be feeling the same themselves, but they might not want to share it instantly. But you might think, oh, they're being off of me, like, have I scared them away? But they're actually just thinking, oh my God, like, I feel the same, like, how do I tell them this? Like, it could be.
Or they could be thinking, like, dying to tell you the same thing, but they don't want to take away your moment. So they think, okay, like, I'm going to keep myself to myself for a second, listen to them, but I'm dying to tell them, but let me not speak about it now because this is her moment. You never know what's going on in somebody's mind. They might be overthinking it themselves.
Okay, so I really, really hope you guys found those tips helpful. I really enjoyed having you on.
I've really enjoyed it. I feel very helpful.
So please do give this video a thumbs up if you did like it, and make sure you do subscribe to my channel, and I'll also leave a link to Shanie's channel and all her social media.
Come on over and take a look.
And we will see you guys soon. Goodbye.